Let's talk June reading plans 2025. Hello everyone, welcome back to A Fictional Escapist. My name is Kris, and today's video is going to be a very loose June TBR, and also I guess a bit of a channel update for the month of June as we move forward. Nothing drastic, just taking a little bit of time off, or not time off, just less videos per week, potentially. I don't know what it looks like. I'm just sort of going to go with the flow. So we'll start with that, and then we'll move into what I'm reading. Just spoiler alert, shock horror, the Crippled God is still on here, and it will be until I read the fucking book. So that's there. In terms of, I guess, content coming out in June, I'm feeling a little bit burnt out, just to be completely upfront. I am doing a lot of alpha and beta reads. I've just ventured into sensitivity reading, which I've done a couple of, and I felt quite bogged down in fantasy. Also, we've had a lot of family visits this year, and I've got a period of time now where that lessens until Rachel and I go to Adelaide in July. So I've got a period of like 6 weeks where we don't have to travel as much. People are coming here, so someone's coming here at the end of June, and then we're going in the end of July. And I feel like it is time, like a perfect time to step back and take a breather. So I'm not like leaving completely. I'm just going to potentially do the stock standard videos. So I'll still be around, but it may be 1 a week as opposed to 2 a week, but I'm not going anywhere. This is something I still very much enjoy. I still like making content, and I have plans for content in the future. But I think for the month of June, also while my book is with beta readers, it is a perfect time to go, I'm just going to chill and see, and whatever happens, happens. And I may miss it. I've thought about taking breaks in the past and I've missed and I've just come back, but I don't want to announce anything. It's not a break. It's just a potential. If you only see a video a week, it just means that I'm chilling out doing other things. I've got some games that I want to play. I've got some shows that I want to watch with Rachel. And my book will be out, so I won't be editing my book. I'll be writing something else, but that'll be, it's not as routine focused. It's not as like set in stone. I have to do this by this date while I wait for beta readers to come back and start the next stage. So bit of a breather. If you see me less, that's why. If you can. That is, I don't know. It feels polite when you have a few constant watchers just to say, I'm okay, I'm just looking after myself. And that also being said, I've got a couple of different genres in here because of the fantasy burnout. I don't want to get burnout on fantasy, so I just know that maybe I need something else while that is all happening in the back of my brain. So jumping into the TBR itself, I have mentioned that the Crippled God will still be on it. A part of taking a bit of a breather as well is to allow the time to read this. So taking out multiple videos a week and having to edit them and all that will give me more time to finish this bloody series. So this is the first physical read that I'll be picking up in the month of June. It's actually happening. Worst case, I will have started the thing. So I'm currently reading The War of the Flowers, and then once that is finished, I'll be sticking into this book. I will be reading this one physically. I felt that the last 2 times I read it on ebook, it went slower on the Kindle, and then I switched to the phone and it went faster. But because this is quite a nice floppy paperback with decent margins and print size, I might give it a go reading it physically. So that'll be the first physical book that I pick up for the month. The next thing that I'll pick up will be an arc by James Lloyd Doolan. This is book 3 and the final book of the Malatu series, with Only a Grave Will Do, and it looks like this. It's quite a stunning cover that we have here. This is a series I've really enjoyed. It explores colonialism in a very, very candid way, and why bad. And it doesn't really take any prisoners, or it's brutal. It's a brutal series, but I really love the way that James writes. He's a fantastic writer. So I'm very much looking forward to finishing the series and having that be a series that I've completed in the year of 2025. So that is my priority for ebook. They are both big books. So the Crippled God, and Only a Grave Will Do are both quite large. They may be the only physical reads that I read, one digitally and one in an actual physical book format. So we'll see. If I do finish those 2, I would love to read Toothsucker by Caden Love. This is cyberpunk, and this is going to be for prep for a cyberpunk discussion that I'm having over on Genre Blender, where I think my friend Ryan is going to read some TradPub cyberpunk, because they have a bit of a backlog as well, and I would like to read a bunch of indie cyberpunk to put into that conversation, one of those being Toothsucker. Now, I think this may also be fantasy. We'll see. We'll see what happens there. I say I'm taking a break from fantasy. The four out of 6 things I have here are fantasy. I mean, that's a break. I feel like that's a break for someone who reads predominantly fantasy. I digress. The next thing that I'm going to pick up audibly, and probably the first audiobook of the month, is Level Ascension by David Dalglish. I read Level Unknown, or listened to Level Unknown earlier in the year. I remember not taking a whole bunch of details from it. I remember the vibes and I had a good time with it. But before I actually forget the book and anything that happened, I'm going to continue on with the series. So the second book just got released. I think it was a May release, and I bought that on Libro. So I'm going to be listening to that for June. Have I mentioned 3 separate months in this video? Unsure. The next one I'll be picking up, I have a physical copy, but I'm probably going to do this on audio, is a non-fiction. This is The Wager by David Gran, the author of Flowers of the Killing of the Flower Moon. I haven't read that one either. I quite like nautical stuff, and I'm very interested in this mutiny on the ship that happened. I have been told that David Gran, not sure, writes non-fiction like fiction, so I'm quite curious as to what this has in store. I mean, I've got all the sharks and shit up the top, and I've got a boat to build, like a pirate ship to build, so this could be fun. I've just had a look at the glossary. There are many things in the glossary and the bibliography, so that'll be interesting, but I'm looking at listening to that one on audio as well. And then to finish us off for, I guess, the main TBR and what I'm planning on reading, is another audiobook called Tell Me What You Did by Carter Wilson, and this is a thriller. So from what I remember, Tell Me What You Did is about a podcast. So it's a podcast host who gets people to anonymously say the crimes that they have committed on the podcast, and then someone calls into the podcast which seems eerily familiar, and then I guess chaos unfolds from there. I really like the premise of it. This one came up on a couple of anticipated releases for the horror thriller people that I follow here on BookTube, and it just caught my fancy. So I have that one on audio as well. So those are the 3 audiobooks. I find I will be driving a lot more, to and from offices, so audiobooks will probably be easier to get through, and the 3 of those are about 10 hours each, or will be 10 hours each at the speed that I listen to. Now, in terms of anything else, I don't know that I'll have more time. If I do, I have a bunch of books on the list that I put out at the beginning of the year saying, hey, I want to read these 10 series this year, or start these 10 series, and I think I've picked up one. So I'll be picking from that list. That is it for this very loose TBR for the month of June, and just a bit of an update. Like I said, I'm not going anywhere. You just might see me a little bit less because I've got other stuff happening. If you like the content, give one of those. If you want to see more of it, click subscribe at your will. And I forgot the question. Tell me what you're reading in the month of June in the comments down below. Anyway, I'll catch you in the next video. Ciao.